Namaste, everyone. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Ashley Turner. So happy to be here with you. I'm a yoga instructor, yoga meditation teacher for over 18 years, and also a licensed psychotherapist. And I'm so thrilled to see you guys tuning in. I am really excited to be here with you. Give you guys just a couple minutes because I see the notification just now popped up. And I'm psyched to be here with you on this Facebook Live. We'll see if we can get the Instagram Live going. I'm not sure. It's not quite happening, but we'll see. Anyway, I am here with you today because, as you know, we have just completed our free video training, How to Build Your Yoga. Let's see here. I'm going to cancel that. Okay. Never mind Instagram. Next time. Not working. Okay. How to build your yoga business with heart and hustle. And those videos are coming down in just a couple days. I'm going to put this up here in case you are interested. So this is my free video series on how to build your yoga business with heart and hustle. And I've been getting a lot of questions, and I actually was just talking to a couple of my assistants. And so this webinar, this Facebook Live today is about how to protect yourself, how to hold your boundaries as a yoga teacher, but it applies to anyone. So in any relationship, in any career, particularly if you are a healer, any kind of energy worker, a therapist in the service industry, a waitress even, because I used to serve wait tables for many, many years. And this also applies there. So for any of us, all of these tools can be applied. So this is part 1 of 2, because I don't want it to run too long. And I have 10 tips for you, but I'm going to do 5 today and 5 tomorrow. Today, we're talking sort of bigger picture. And then tomorrow, how to protect yourself and hold your boundaries. We're going to get into some nuts and bolts, really practical tools that you can use. So just so you know, this is part 1 of 2. Also tune in tomorrow. The second half is coming then. But I want to keep this manageable so you guys we can make it a little quicker. Okay, so this is a question that I've been getting from a lot of you guys. And the question is, when you're a yoga teacher and you're holding space, again, this can go as a mother, as a teacher of anything. Particularly though, when you're working with someone's mental emotional space, their shit is going to come up, and it comes up in the yoga room. And our whole video series was just about this. It was about how you can start addressing mental and emotional issues in the yoga room, because they're there anyway. They're coming up anyway. At some point in time, 40% of adults report dealing with anxiety. So people's stuff is coming up all the time. And you being a facilitator and holding the space and in charge of the space, most likely, if you're sensitive and intuitive in any way, will start to feel that. So whether you're really clearly understanding or picking up on what's going on, or whether you just end up leaving your class feeling a little funky and out of sorts or irritable or tired, it's really important for us as empaths and facilitators to have a big toolbox that can help us keep grounded and hold our boundaries. Protect yourself from other people's energy so you're not taking it on, right? So the first tip for you, and I want to really thank, my assistant, Allie, who gave me this question, and several other of you who've asked the same exact thing. And particularly, I do want to mention in the vein of yoga psychology, because we just opened registration today for Yoga Psyche Soul, my online training, my online teacher training. This is all online. It's 6 modules. It's 6 months, 1 module for each month. And you can go here to get all the details, yoga-psychology.co. All of the details are right there. And make sure I spelled that right. Okay. We just opened the doors today, and they are only going to be open for about a week. And we also have a special 72-hour fast action bonus if you sign up in the first 72 hours by Wednesday at midnight, actually Thursday at midnight Pacific time. You will receive a special bonus class that I did with Sean Korn, who, as you know, is one of my deepest, dearest friends and greatest mentors. I actually just got off the phone with her for like an hour, just got off the phone. And we have recorded a class for you that's all about shadow work and emotional processing. So it dovetails into everything that we're talking about right now. That masterclass is available to you if you sign up for Yoga Psyche Soul in the next 72 hours. So go to the site and you'll get all the details. But back to our Facebook Live today. So in the vein of yoga psychology, I'm really beginning to teach this triple threat of yoga class, which I call it, which is teaching a yoga class that is addressing the spiritual nature, like church, like really connecting people to their spiritual relationship, whatever that is, helping hold the space for that, giving them some real mental, emotional skills and tools. So I call it the triple threat because my class was once described as getting a kick-ass workout, going to a therapist, and going to church all in an hour and a half. And so that's the kind of teaching that I'm here to support you guys in creating something that's really holistic and can help people on all levels. We all need support. We need support mentally, emotionally. We need support connecting to spirit. And we certainly need to keep this body healthy, vital, and strong. When you do that, though, you are going to churn up people's stuff. It's already unfolding in the yoga room. And here are some ways that you can protect yourself and set boundaries. First and foremost, I have to tell a little story. Last Friday, I was up in Laurel Canyon and I was filming a special project that I can't quite talk about yet, but I was with Marianne Williamson, and she was coaching several of us on being teachers and facilitators. Excuse me. And the biggest thing that she said to each of us, hi, Anne, hi, Crystal, hi, Nicole. So good to see you guys on here. Everyone else that's signing in, please jump into the comments and let me know where you're from. And if you're a teacher, therapist, student, I want to hear from you. Jump into the comments. So Marianne was saying, I don't even call myself a teacher. And certainly not a healer. I am just showing up in service. And we're all teachers and we're all students on this path. So that's number one. In yoga practice, we call this Ishvara Pranidhan. Ishvara Pranidhan means that you are offering yourself up to spirit. You are offering the fruits of your labor. You're offering your work in the world as being in service to the greater whole. So when we show up, whatever your endeavor is, as a therapist, as a mother, as a teacher, as a waitress, as a graphic designer, how can I be in service? Ishvara Pranidhan means you're starting by offering it up. So you are a vessel of spirit. And as my colleague Sienna Sherman says, we're here to strengthen our vessel. In other words, it takes the onus off of you. Spirit is flowing through you. Shakti is flowing through you. Wisdom, insight, inspiration is flowing through you. It's the energy that moves through you. And your job is to be as clear and strong and transparent as possible to open that channel. So you just let it pour through you, and it's not on you. It's not up to you. This is also really helpful for those of you. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Lisa. Allison. This is also really helpful for those of you that are feeling insecure about your teaching. It's not about you, okay? It's spirit moving through you. So you just show up and get out of the way and let spirit do the work. That is number one. And so if you feel like you're an empath and you're feeling drained, you're feeling, like you're taking stuff on, start by giving it over to spirit, Ishvara Pranidhan. So it's not about you. You're the vessel, you're the vehicle, and spirit's there doing the work. Number two dovetails on this. And number two is a practical way to offer that up. So the first thing that I do, hi, Catherine from New Zealand. Oh, yeah, you're a psychotherapist trainee. The first thing that I do, whether I'm doing a therapy session, which, by the way, I'm in my therapy office here in Brentwood, California, in Los Angeles, and I'm in my psychotherapy office every Tuesday. And the first thing that I do, whether I'm leading a session, whether I'm doing psychotherapy, whether I'm teaching a yoga class, even when I'm, hanging out with my family, maybe we're doing vacation together, the first thing that I do is start by stopping, pause, and pray. Set your intention. Preferably, if you have the confidence, set that intention out loud. So it took me years to do this as a teacher. I referenced this in our Facebook Live last week, but Seane Corn is one of my mentors, because I was so astounded by how articulate she is. And those of you who've taken class with her know what I'm talking about. And she just opens up that channel and lets spirit flow through. And she is so profound in her teaching. And I would always ask her, like, what are your tips? And this was the main thing that she said is, listen, I just get up there, I put my hands together, I get everyone. If you know Seane, she usually starts everyone in Supta Baddha Konasana, and one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, getting everyone grounded, getting everyone on the same page, a few deep breaths together, and then start by stopping. Set the intention, the sankalpa. And your sankalpa is like a bullseye for your practice, right? So why are we here? We're here in service to the highest good of all. We're here in service to the deepest truth revealing itself. And we're here in service to heal, to uplift life in all forms on this planet. And I actually now state that out loud in most all my classes, even if it's a big conference, a big festival. I bring everyone together. I ask them to state their own intention. So they're coming into their spiritual bullseye, know your why. Why are they here? What are they really doing in a spiritual intention? What do they want to transform? And then after I give them a moment or two to state their intentions to themselves, I state mine out loud so that as a group, the collective unconscious is on the same page. Spirit, thank you so much for bringing each and every one of us here. I'm so grateful. We open ourselves right now to really hear. May you come through in a way that we can all understand. I was mentioning this last week as well. May you move through me. May I step out of the way. May you move through me, through my words, through the sequencing, through the music, in ways that people in this room right now need to hear it, and that you can address exactly what everyone needs. So again, setting your intention, very powerful, stepping out of the way and verbally making that commitment and making that statement. Now, I want to also say, you want to close the loop once you open that space, that sacred space. And I even say things now like, visualize a white light or rose gold light around this room. So you're actually physically in time and space, creating a safe container. And we're going to get to that in number 5. But that's one way that I do it, is bring some visualization, bring some energy work into it, but certainly start by prayer. So start by stopping, offer it up, preferably out loud. If you don't feel confident yet praying out loud in front of your whole class, then pray to yourself. Ask everyone to set their intention silently, and you silently, internally, or mumbling to yourself, state your prayer, state your intention, give it up to God, Goddess, whatever your version of that is. Number 3. So those of you that are joining us, this is how to protect yourself and hold boundaries as a yoga teacher, but also as anyone in any form of work. Carolyn is asking, what is the enrollment window for Yoga Psyche Soul? So we are open right now for registration for our online class. It starts June 1st. We start fresh June through December, and 6 modules every week. Hey, Jenny's coming to our live training next week, 2 weeks in Venice. And our module 1 is totally sold out, which I'm so excited for. So we still have room in the live chakra class. That is May 20th through the 25th. Is that right? 14th through the 18th? Yes. 21st through the 25th. The chakra immersion, May 21st to the 25th. Okay. So room for any of you guys that want to join us for that. But the online training is now open, and it is only open for a week. I will look at the exact date. I think we close on, it might be 10 days. We close on May 9th. So it's open right now, but there is a special 72-hour fast action bonus. For those of you that sign up in the first 72 hours, you will also get a master class that I just recorded with Seane Corn on shadow work, emotional processing, understanding triggers in the yoga room, and a little bit of her spirit speak, which is sort of what we're talking about right now. getting out of your own way and letting spirit move through you. As you know, Sean is an expert at that. And so I wanted to bring you a masterclass that was specific to that. So if you sign up by Thursday midnight, you will receive that. If you sign up after Thursday midnight, you will not receive that masterclass. Okay, so you can go to the link here and check it out. So number 3, how to protect yourself and hold your boundaries. Stay in your own lane. That means know your scope of practice. You are not a therapist. You are not a coach, unless you are a coach or unless you are a therapist, which is awesome. But for most of you, you're not a licensed psychotherapist. And so you don't have to start counseling someone on their breakup or their divorce, or someone comes to you and is confiding in you about something personal or depression or anxiety. Your scope of practice is not to start giving them, a specific protocol, or you can definitely prescribe things in the yoga meditation realm that you think would be helpful. And that's definitely what Yoga Psyche Soul is all about, of how to help assess people for where they are and give them tools if they're going through grief or heartbreak or insecurity. The chakra system is very, that's my foundation cornerstone for that, touchstone for that. But you're not there to really guide them and counsel them. And this can be overwhelming. I know for me, when I decided to go back to school and get my master's in psychotherapy, the reason was because I was teaching classes. They were super strong vinyasa classes for the most part, and they were really charging. They were actually triggering a lot of stuff coming up for people. People were having breakdowns on the yoga mat. I could see them bawling in pigeon pose. They were coming up to me after class, talking about things, or I could see that there was a little psychological or emotional instability, but I didn't know what it was. I certainly couldn't assess it, and I definitely didn't have the words to describe it. And I felt really overwhelmed, and I actually wanted to go and learn how to help people take their yoga off the mat and help them with that next tier of transformation or healing or awareness. So I actually went and got licensed as a psychotherapist, but you don't have to do that. But what you do have to do, and what is ethical, is to have some referrals for people. So you have your little black book of massage therapists, of acupuncturists, of psychotherapists that are from a holistic bent, of maybe a functional medicine doctor, places that you can refer people to and say, you know what, this might be a good option for you. You might want to look at supplementing your practice with some of this. Acupuncture, chiropractor, body workers that maybe a nutritionist. Also, I will say, when you know the chakra system inside and out, and you can tell what people are coming to you with, what's called their identified problem is, what their leading issue is, and what chakra that aligns to, you will have a good sense of the next step for them off the mat. You will have a good sense of how to help them choreograph on the mat, but you will also have a good sense of where to send them outside of that. For example, I just had this in an Instagram live the other day. If someone's struggling with anxiety, a couple of lifestyle protocols for them would be connecting them to the earth, getting them to walk on the earth, getting them to take their shoes off, literally earthing, which is grounding barefoot on the planet, on the dirt, on the sand, not on the concrete, but actually in the earth itself. Gardening is a really powerful thing. I just moved into a house and we have a little garden now I'm nurturing on the side of the yard. And it's just bringing me so much joy and happiness to connect with the earth in that way that I haven't done in many years. And food is another thing for anxiety. Making your own food, nourishing yourself, taking that time for self-love. So this is an example of how you can give people some lifestyle considerations, but you're not necessarily taking them on and starting to counsel them, psychologically or emotionally, but you do have references to send them to, right? So it's not on you. You're holding that boundary and you're offering them in all good faith and ethically next resources. You always want to help resource your clients and your students. So stay in your own lane, know your scope of practice, and stay there, but offer referrals. Okay, number 4, this is part 1 of 2 Facebook Lives that I'm going to be doing on how to hold your boundaries and protect yourself. Number 4, this is very important. It might even be the most important one. Well, number 1 is probably the most important one, but number 4 is get mentorship and supervision. So it's very important to understand the psychodynamics in a yoga room. And this is psychodynamics in any room that you're in. What's so great about understanding Psychology 101 is that no matter what group you're in, I said this, I think, in my last Facebook Live, it's kind of a funny story, but my boyfriend, actually, my partner, is works with Will Smith very closely. And so he travels with him all the time. And we were all traveling to Australia in January. And I was having a conversation with Will, who's very spiritually minded. And he said, you know, Ash, any group that you're in, the group dynamics come up. Whatever circle it is, whatever room you're in, the group dynamics come up. We're all triggering each other and we're all here to help each other work it out. And I love that because he's very aware of the spiritual psychology, the nature, human nature. And it kind of freed all of us up. There were 8 of us on the trip to, you know, have this conversation. Like, oh, wow. How are you triggering me? How are you triggering me? What are we all here to do? There's always an alchemy, no matter what group you're in, whether it's your family, whether it's a dinner party, whether it's your yoga class. It's important to understand psychodynamics. And the one we're talking about here is countertransference. Countertransference means that you, as a facilitator, space holder, teacher, leader, are getting triggered by your students, your clients, your kids, whoever it is. You're getting triggered. You're the one that's kind of holding the space, but something is going on that's bringing up something for you. So for a great one is an example of maybe someone leaves your yoga class in the middle of the class. I almost did this the other day in a Pilates class. I was like, I really was having a hard time in this class. I didn't love the teacher. I hated the music. It was so loud. I'm getting old and I can't handle the loud music. And I was like, you're going to stay. You're going to respect the teacher. You don't like when people leave your yoga class. Like, you're going to stay. So I stuck it out. But it reminded me of all those times that people have left my yoga class in the middle of the room, in the middle of the class. And I used to, and sometimes occasionally I still will get very triggered. And what does it bring up for me? It brings up my insecurity. What did they not like? Do they hate me? Are they going out and talking about me? Was it the sequencing? Was it the music? Was it too spiritual? Was it not spiritual enough? Like, you know, I start spinning in all of my insecurities. The truth is, we have no idea why anyone leaves our class, right? So this is what's called countertransference. I'm getting triggered by someone's behavior in the class. Now I'm starting to project onto them what I assume is going on. What's interesting about this Pilates class, for example, the other day, yes, I was not loving all of those factors, but the biggest truth of it was I had been doing spinning and running every day that week. And I literally had just come from a treadmill class right into Pilates. My legs were so tired and burnt out. And this Pilates teacher, decided to do the entire 60-minute Pilates class on legs. And so it was a hell realm for me because my legs were already burnt. And here she's doing only lunges the entire class. And so I was just like, this isn't really that helpful for me. It's actually like, I can't even do half of it. So that was a big piece that was going on for me, but she had no idea that was going on. This is happening in your yoga class if someone leaves. We don't know. Most of the time, people are innocently just doing their thing. And when you get triggered or something comes up for you, that's your stuff to own and that's your responsibility to process. So that means get mentorship and get supervision. For example, as a psychotherapist, by law, we are bound to be getting continually, ethically. When you're a trainee, you have to be getting supervision for every 10 hours that you are working with a client in psychotherapy. You have 1 hour of supervision with a guide, with a mentor, with a trainer and you're talking about what's happening with your clients, what's coming up for you, what's being triggered for you, and you're working it out there. I would recommend that same kind of ratio in your yoga teaching. Every 10 hours of teaching, or maybe every 10 classes, you go for an hour and sit with a mentor, sit with a therapist, sit with another older teacher that you know, someone that's been teaching longer than you, and talk about what's coming up for you. You need some help with your sequencing. Someone's coming to you and they're late all the time, and you're afraid to go to them and talk to them about needing to hold that boundary, or, you know, whatever it might be. There's many, many different things that it could be, right? So it's important that you take responsibility for your side of the street. You clean up your side of the street. Know your triggers, know what's coming up for you. Have a safe place that you're going to do your personal work as a teacher to work it out. So you're not coming to class and processing it there, or getting triggered in the middle of class and not able to, you know, concentrate or focus or give your best self because your shit is coming up. So this is especially important when you as a teacher are in a vulnerable state yourself. If you're going through deep grief, a heartbreak, a loss of some kind, you can definitely apply this to your stepkids. And it's very important that you have your own space where you're going and processing your stuff. And that is just basic self-care, because you can never do number one. You can never open yourself as a clear vessel if you yourself are not constantly taking care of your shit. Processing life is an endless journey. It doesn't have to be a dramatic thing. It's just part of life. So for you, I mean, I'm in therapy all the time. Almost every week I meet with my psychotherapist. And on top of that, I have several mentors that I call consistently. And on top of that, I have several colleagues that are very good friends that are also very skilled facilitators, therapists, and coaches. And I'm talking to them. So I have many places in my life where I go to work out my stuff. So when I come to class, I'm clear, I'm free, and I'm really strong. And a lot of people say, like, whoa, how do you do it? How do you run bigger classes or teach at a big conference? And the way that I do it is there's massive self-care. And a lot of that self-care is mental, emotional self-care. It's physical as well. I'm constantly strengthening my vessel physically, but I'm also strengthening myself psychologically. Because if you're not able to hold your own stuff, there's no way you can hold space for other people. So, you know, that being said, there are times in our lives when we're vulnerable and we're in, you know, again, heartbreak or something like that. And maybe you have to minimize your teaching so that you can attend to your own needs. And it's not to say that we can't be, please go back and watch my Facebook Live on the Wounded Healer, because that's a very important one to understand, that we're all human, we're all vulnerable, we're all going through things, but it's just important that you're taking responsibility and taking care of that. Okay, last one for today. Number 5, how to protect yourself and hold boundaries as a yoga teacher or anyone in any situation. Hold a strong container. So the container in alchemy, it's very important. Those of you who may have studied anything about alchemy, and by the way, again, this is a huge piece of our foundations of yoga psychology. And we just opened registration for Yoga Psyche Soul, the online training. Oh, Megan, I'm just reading this comment. I want to send you so much love. And your brother, Megan, is saying that her brother is dying. She's a full-time teacher and suffering big time, exhausted beyond belief. I feel like I have nowhere to go with these. I'm faking it to get through. It works for now, but how long can I do this? Rhetorical question. We don't know. So let's just come together as a kula right now, and maybe place your hands together at your heart or on your heart. And I just want to visualize Megan and her brother right now. Let's take a big inhale into our hearts. And visualize as you exhale surrounding Megan and her blessed brother with love, with loving kindness, with white light, with rose gold light. 2 more breaths. Inhaling. Please see Megan and her brother and their family together, surrounded with your prayers, with your intention in this safe space. Exhale. And one more time. So, Spirit, there are no words to describe this threshold of initiation, of moving from this physical life into the spirit world. There are no words. There are no words for the grieving, for the inevitable loss that we all face with all of our loved ones, with ourselves, with our bodies. The nature of this physical, temporal plane of existence, straddled, intersecting with the nature of the spirit of our infinite soul. But we specifically pray right now for Megan and her family and hold them with so much beauty. Ask that they walk in the beauty way with grace, with all the messiness that this entails, that they just simply be open and present to every step of the way and every nuance of this transition. That they feel supported, that they feel wrapped in a blanket of love, of support from all of us, from this Kula, and also from Spirit, and from their own deep well of wisdom and love and compassion, including self-compassion. And that Megan continues to serve in whatever way she is called and finds ways to support herself and take space, maybe even more space, even if that means working less and earning less for a time period while her family is going through this transition. And we ask that this transition be with grace and ease, and that her brother's spirit is also really supported in this journey, and that he can find peace in this journey. And so we hold Megan and her family and anyone else that's going through something similar. Our prayers and our hearts are with you. May you feel a little bit more strength and a little bit more support, even from those of us that you don't know. We are all in this together. We are all walking each other home. Thank you. Namaste. Aho. So, Megan, I really thank you for sharing that. And so I just want to honor that so big. And this is this is me actually modeling to you guys right now exactly what I'm talking about. This is how we hold space. We offer it up to Spirit. We get really clear about what our intention is and how to be in service to whomever shows up. Just like this, arise, and we stay present to that and we attend to that. So, yes, thank you all, those of you who are with us in that moment, and Megan, and know that that's held beyond time and space. So that is an example of holding a strong container. The first way to hold a strong container is to offer it up to Spirit. And just like we did, I said, visualize white light or rose gold light around each and every one of us, around this family, around these people. We are not alone, but as soon as you visualize or verbally call in, you start to activate that energetic realm. We're talking about the subtle realm. We're talking about the spiritual realm. We're talking about the subtle body, the pranic body. Again, if those of you are interested in the chakra immersion, this is coming up live in Venice, May 21st through the 25th. And we get into a lot more of this. But holding a clear, strong container is crucial. Part of this, I'm going to give you some practical tools, are time and space, clear time and space boundaries, starting on time, ending on time. Those of you who've been to my live class know that I'm working on this. I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect at the time boundary, that is for sure. But I'm good at holding the space boundary. In other words, if you start your class and you've already started Namaste and chanted your 3 ohms, and someone walks in 15 minutes later, you have the right, you are the mama bear holding the space for everyone else, and you have the right to politely decline and say, you know what, we've already started Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to ask you to come back to the next class because we're already in our flow and it's not appropriate to join us now. I've done that many, many times in my trainings, and it's important because you are the gatekeeper. As a teacher, as a facilitator, it is your responsibility to hold space for everyone else in your class. So you can do things that there's a lot of allies. And tomorrow in part 2, I'm going to give you some 5 tips, very practical tips, some allies and tools that you can use to help you hold the space. In other words, you're not there just energetically holding it down by yourself. There are very practical things like sage. Even here in my therapy office, I have candles going, I have essential oils going, I have flowers. The lighting is attuned. I work with a Tibetan bowl. You can work with bells, things that are going to help you using the elemental forces that are going to help you to clear the space, hold the space, differentiate in the beginning, the bookends between the beginning of the sacred space and the ending of sacred space, because you always want to open up that space at the end. So, hi, Petra. Yay. So good to see you on here. It's my cousin in Atlanta. Miss you. Petra is an amazing high priestess too. She facilitates a lot with her little kids and her work in the world. So there's a lot of tools that you can use to hold the space. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow in part 2. So join me tomorrow, Facebook Live. I'm going to aim for noon Pacific time. And also, again, our Yoga Psyche Soul training just opened. It's an online training. You can go to the website right here, yoga-psychology.co, and get all the details. Super excited. And we have one special bonus, 72-hour fast action bonus. If you sign up by Thursday at midnight, you will also get a masterclass with myself and Sean Korn on shadow work, on emotional triggers, on understanding how to help people process emotionally. Sean and I, for those of you that may not know, both worked with our teacher, Mona Miller. Sean actually introduced me to Mona Miller about 15 years ago, and she has since passed away, but she's one of our greatest teachers. So we talk a lot about her work and shadow work in general. So if you jump into the class by Thursday at midnight, you will get that extra bonus masterclass. All right. Thank you all so much. Such a pleasure. Please leave your questions below. I want to know what else you want me to tackle in these Facebook Lives. I'm going to be doing them every single day. Tomorrow we have part 2 of this. So I will see you there. Please share this with anyone you think may be interested and may be helpful. Share it or tag someone in the comments below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. Bye.